Hello, welcome to She's Connected. This group is for the stressed out and overwhelmed moms who need to pause and connect to God, herself, and her kids. So, we have a new school week. We have all of our high schoolers going off to school, and there were many hiccups that first week, but today's Friday, and you made it here. We also had some birthdays this week. Let me know what's going on in your life this week in the comments. I'm Cherry, mom of 10, living in Springfield, Missouri, inspiring families and moms like you to live a life connected to God. So even in those upsetting moments, like finding out your daughter is not on the bus list, you can stay connected. If you're connected to God, then you can stay with God-focused mind and work through the pain and trouble of having to go and get your daughter from school, even though there's a bus, there's a seat available, and her brothers can ride the bus. It's crazy. Tell me about you in the comments. Where are you watching from? How many kids do you have in your family? Or, just let me know I'm not the only one who is having trouble this first week of school getting everything all in alignment. We are in the Delight Snapshot series within Discovering Joy in Philippians. And today's title is, now I just went blank, The Beauty in Enough. Welcome to High Five Friday. You are on, it's a Friday, and you made it here. It's awesome. Okay, so we are going to be diving into the beauty in enough. This is a snapshot series of contentment. And I really wanted to stress the word delight. That's the word God gave me for this year. And that's what I think we have to focus on when we are going through life. Is this delighting God? Is this delightful to my family? How can I delight in Him more? The word delight really helps me focus on being content. So when I was thinking about how are we going to talk about being content and contentment, I was going to pair it with delight. It's amazing how quickly contentment can sneak into your heart. Sometimes it's over something really small or something bigger. But here's the good news. God shows us that contentment isn't about having everything you want. It's about learning to trust Him as enough. He is enough. And if you got Him, then that's all that matters. And while it might sound silly at first, those small frustrations, they often uncover the deeper truth that your heart is quick to tie joy to comfort or control or things working out the way that you expected. Our circumstances, we feel them because we're living life. But really, do they matter? Whether it's small or big, discontentment has a way of really sneaking in, creeping into your heart. Put tiny in the comments because tiny things can set off discontentment. And we want to do what God says in the Bible, and that is be content. Oh, hello, Bev. You're in the comments. I put a comment in and now I can see yours. The tiny things, like when the elastic in clothing doesn't bounce back anymore. We are a very frugal, bargain hunting family. And when our clothes start to break down, it really frustrates me. I want things to stay nice and to last a really long time. In our family, it needs to last extra long because we pass things down. And I don't have money to go buy new clothes. So when I notice the elastic making that crack sound and it doesn't bounce back, my heart sinks a bit. it kind of steals some of my joy. This can be my clothing or my kids' clothing. And Philippians 4:11 says, I have learned to be content, whatever the circumstances. Ouch. I think this verse is so hard for moms, and I am putting it in your face right now. So just take a deep breath. This is not me or God being mean to you. I'm not trying to make you feel bad for not feeling content all the time. But we're going to talk about how we can be content. So let's focus on that. Even in the little annoyances, God is teaching you to rest in Him instead of the condition of your things. My house it is a mess often. And I looked over there because I was trying to think of how I could share with you that my bathroom had a leak. It dripped and destroyed some of the grout on the seat that's in our shower. And this happened months ago. And it's still not fixed. So when God tells me to be content in all circumstances and I take a shower with a big tarp hanging there, it's very hard. So I know, I understand your discontentment, but let's dive in and see what God has to say about it. But also, there aren't tiny things there aren't just tiny things. There are medium things too. The struggles that don't just annoy you, but they linger on. Like when your body has a pain flare up, making everyday tasks harder. Suddenly, you're not just irritated, but you can be really discouraged. It's in those moments that contentment feels harder to hold on to. So, why don't you put bigger in the comments? Because we can trust Him and be content even in the bigger, my shower is broken still moments, in the bigger things. When I have like back pain or tooth pain or maybe a headache, I'm way more sensitive, and so are the people in my house. I can get so frustrated, not just at the pain, but at needing to depend on others for help. I don't like waiting for others to help or my kids to help me do everything on my list. My list is long and I need to get it done. And when you're in pain and you can't garden, or when you're in pain and you can't finish the things, it is hard. It takes way longer to it takes way longer to finish my to-do list, and it makes me feel bad or ashamed or weak. And my attitude starts to really sink. And my peace, it gets tied to whether I wake up without pain or not, or whether I am pain free. In 1 Corinthians, it's 12:9, it says, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Instead of despising your weakness, He's inviting you and me to discover His strength through everything. Through it, He can get you through the pain. And then there are those deep heartbreaks, the kind that shake you to the core. And for me, one of those times was miscarrying with massive bleeding while still needing to care for my 9 children. In that season, contentment didn't feel like a lesson, it felt impossible. My heart was broken. My body was depleted. My house was still full of little kids who needed me and older ones who had to be picked up from school. Discontentment in those moments, ooh, it felt overwhelming. Life felt so unfair, and I felt so alone. Like like I was dying, and my joy, it was stolen. But God was in it with me the whole time. Put all in the comments because you can be content in all times. from tiny to huge disappointments and struggles. He is there with you and me. Philippians 4:13 speaks hope. It says, I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. Contentment doesn't mean the pain disappears. It means Christ gives you the strength to endure, to keep going. And that's beautiful. It's amazing. Put beauty in the comments because Christ is the beauty in enough. I got to put that one in the comments myself. Each of these moments, the tiny little things and the big, huge ones, they reveal how easily your heart ties joy to circumstances. But God has been teaching me something so much greater. These 6 ways to embrace contentment, no matter the size of the loss or disappointment. So here's those 6 actions for contentment. I didn't know if I wanted to put that in the comments or just put the 6 things. I am going to put that in the comments. 6 actions for contentment. Number 1 is practice gratitude. Be thankful. Gratitude actually shifts your focus from what's missing to what's present. And then contentment is easier because you're grateful. Number 2 is simplify your expectations. Let go of perfection. I know it's hard. And embrace the enough right where you are. And this one I have to remind myself over and over about because I am kind of a perfectionist. I want to try my best at everything. And my best, I feel like, is when I think it's perfect, and I have to let that go. Contentment grows when you stop chasing what isn't necessary. And number 3 is choose generosity. This is a mind shift that happens in your heart too. Give your time, give encouragement, or give resources to someone else. And something happens in your heart. Contentment deepens when you pass on your blessings that you already have. And number 4 is rest in God's provision. No matter what crazy things are happening in my life, God provides. When I am struggling to come up with money for food, He provides. When our electric bill is crazy high because of this heat, He shows up. Remind yourself that He knows what you need before you even ask. So rest. Instead of striving and trying your hardest and working and crushing your hopes and dreams. Number 5 is guard your thoughts. We talked about our minds and the battlefield that's up there last week. Replace comparison with praise. When you're tempted to look at what others have, declare, God, you are enough for me. And He's right there for you, with you. So you got Him, and He's enough. So you don't need that fancy new phone, that amazing brand new car, and all the payments that come with it. God is your enough. Number 6 is keep an eternal perspective. And we've talked about this over and over here in She's Connected. The big picture. We are living life and some bump comes along and that's what we focus on and that bump gets bigger. But when we step back and see the eternal perspective of what really matters, it can change our hearts and our minds and what we're focusing on and all the things. This world is temporary. So set your heart on Christ and his kingdom, and then that will reframe the things that you are longing for. So scripture teaches over and over again the beauty in enough. You can learn to be content, and you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. Contentment is learned. It comes by drawing strength from God, not your circumstances. So put learn in the comments because you can learn to be content. And I will even add to that, you can learn to be content in all circumstances, even the heartbreaking ones. And what's important here is your choices. Your choices can bring contentment and they can showcase the beauty in enough. I encourage you to choose these 4 things. Choose priorities. When you let God set the difference between what you truly need and what you just want, you'll find peace in knowing He never fails to provide. Choose to pass the blessings. Contentment grows when you shift your eyes from what I don't have to what I can give. Because generosity, again, always multiplies joy. It's important. 3, choose positivity. Every time you name a blessing or speak gratitude out loud, you're rewriting your heart's story from lack to abundance. So choose positivity. The 4th thing, choose that eternal perspective. When you remember that this life is temporary, but His promises are forever, even in your struggles, they can become reminders of the glory that's ahead. So let's focus there. Choose eternal perspective. And there's another time that I got to talk about, because this is when discontent can take over your life, and that is when you're waiting. Nobody likes waiting in line. Nobody likes waiting for their turn. Waiting is hard, and when God asks you to wait for something, you can start to really turn to discontentment. But I want you to change your mindset in your waiting. We are waiting for Ruthie to get on that bus schedule. And guess what? Today, they put her name on the list. Woo! In the waiting, we were blessed and we focused on God. And the reward came earlier than what they told me. They told me we were going to have to wait another week. So it's exciting. How can you wait on God without living in a place of constant frustration and impatience? That's a huge question. Well, here's the answer. When God is your ultimate delight, then you can wait well. And that's in the doctor waiting area. That's in the DMV line. That's in all waiting seasons. If you put God as your ultimate delight, then He will allow you to wait well. Psalms 31:24 says, "Be strong and courageous, all you who put your hope in the Lord." Delight in God's perfect ways over your own as He uses your waiting seasons to mold you more and more into the image of Christ. So here's 5 ways to stay content in your waiting. Number 1 is anchor in God's Word. Daily reminders of His promises, they give peace when answers haven't come yet. Number 2 is practice gratitude in the small things. Why don't you think about one blessing, or one thing that has blessed you each day? Or you can do the famous 3 things. Think of 3 things that you're thankful for or grateful for. Contentment grows when you notice what's already here in front of you. Because when you focus on the things that you don't have, you start to get down. And then there's a spiral effect. You start seeing other things you don't have. But when you focus on the blessings that are already here right now, then you start to see more blessings. And that's what we want to do. We want to have more joy, and we want to be blessed. We want to live that abundant life. Number 3 is serve where you are. Pour into your family, your children, your spouse, or your friends, or your coworkers. Blessing others keeps you from being consumed by what you lack. Number 4, pray with open hands. Release the timeline and the outcomes to God, asking Him to shape your heart more than your circumstances. Number 5 is stay connected to encouragers. Find those people or that thing. Maybe you need a specific app. That the Bible app has a verse of the day. Maybe that's helpful. Maybe She's Connected. Show up and She's Connected every week on our lives. That's staying connected to the encouragers. Surround yourself with faith-filled voices. You can listen to podcasts. You can listen to worship songs. You can read your Bible. All those things that remind you that God is still at work. Those will help your heart choose contentment over the lack and the discontentment. So we made it to our heart check moment here. I got to put heart check in the comments. Now I got a rainbow wheel. It's thinking. My computer. So slow. And I hear that so often with other people, so I understand. I'm at the doctor's office. They're checking me in, and they're saying that the computer isn't thinking quick enough. Or I called the school, and then she's like, my computer's running really slow. Maybe we have a slow computer problem. Or we just want things quicker than what they can happen. That's interesting to think about. But now we're at our heart check moment where I give you questions to spend time with God. Maybe I said that wrong. Questions to ask yourself and sit with God to hear His answer. Okay, so here they are. Am I more focused on what I don't have now, or on who God is for me right now? That is the question. Dig deep into your heart. Oh, thank you, Bev, for putting heart check in the comments. Of course, I didn't see it right away, but oh no, when I went to tap on your... Oh, Tina's here. Hi, Tina. It said, close unused applications because action is needed, and this is taking too much brain power for my computer. That scares me so much, but we're still live, I believe, so here we go. Next question. How do I usually respond when God asks me to wait? Or when anybody asks me to wait? Am I frustrated? Am I distracted? Or am I faithful? And the next question is, what small act of gratitude or obedience can I choose today that will shift my heart toward contentment, because that's what we're focused on today, being content. Okay, I got the questions in the comments. Contentment doesn't come from getting everything you want. It comes from trusting the one who is enough. That's God. Be connected to him. Contentment doesn't come naturally either. It's something that you learn, one small surrender at a time, and we have to keep doing it. So that makes it hard. From the tiny frustrations to the bigger struggles of pain and weakness, to the heartaches that take you deep down, each moment reveals how easily your heart clings to circumstances instead of Christ. But the beauty of enough is this: God is never shaken. He is constant, He is near, and He is always enough. Contentment is not pretending life doesn't hurt. It's finding strength in the one who never fails you, even in your weakness and even in your weakest moments. Paul learned to be content, and that doesn't mean his life was easy. It means he chose to rest in God's provision, to trust that his grace would be sufficient, and to anchor his joy in something deeper than the circumstances around him. He tells you and me to be content. And we can, because we have God. Contentment, it takes practice though. It grows as you tell God every reason for your requests, as you remind yourself that salvation is enough and Christ is enough and God is enough, and as you give thanks and praise for what He has already done. It grows as you thank Him for His good purposes, as you lift others up who are struggling, and as you fix your hope on eternity. Contentment also flows out of your choices. His promises are forever, so choose Him every time. When God is your ultimate delight, waiting or not waiting is no longer wasted time. It's holy ground. It's the place where He shapes you into the image of Christ. Brave mom, you don't have to let discontentment rule your heart. Whether the struggle is tiny, bigger, or really deep, Christ is strong enough to carry you through. He is the beauty in enough. I think I want to pause right here and put that in the comments too. He is your portion, your strength, and your joy. And in Him, you have more than you need. So choose contentment. Declare that you can learn to be content because our God is faithful. Let's see the beauty in enough over and over again. Not because life is perfect, because it is far from that, but because Christ is present. And that's always enough. So I hope that's it for today. And I hope that you will be here next week in She's Connected, right here on our live at 3 p.m. Central. That's 4 p.m. Eastern. Show up in the comments, even though Facebook doesn't show them to me. That frustrates me, but we just go with it. And we're going to continue to talk about contentment because it's important for us to have the attitude of Christ. We need that content heart right where we're at, not focused on where we can be or where we were, but right here in the present with Christ. So happy connecting, everyone, and I will see you next week. Thank you so much.